Sorry that we are starting late. It is Tuesday, November 18th. And this is the capital program committee meeting.
Jesus.
I do,
Kramer. Sorry, guys.
sorry, Chrissy, it's a roll call. I'm Jill V.
Liza
Liza Hatton.
Pete Kaiser. Christie Kickham.
Online is Caroline
Here.
and Howard.
Charles Johnson.
Hi.
Hi. And the staff that we have here is, we have Sue,
Here, I did what Howard did.
we have Greg Tiffin.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Greg. Is anyone else online, Sue?
No, just my otter.
Sue's honor, and we have David Gray
David Gray.
and Charles Johnson. Johnston, okay, thank you. Can I get approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Liza,
Aye.
Pete?
Aye.
Christie?
Aye.
Jules and I, Caroline?
Aye.
Howard?
Yes.
Great. Oh, and I need to remind everybody, this is being audio and video recorded. Gonna open this up to public comment. Going to close public comment. Unless you two would like to comment. We are here to look at sewer and stormwater. We have David and Charles here, and I'm just gonna let you get to it, David.
Well, we kind of had to stop abruptly though. So I don't know where, I didn't see an
Do you-
agenda where to start to and.
Do you wanna do the Somerset needs area? Because that kind of like, we were sort of halfway through that, and then we jumped.
It won't hurt, I don't think, to just let everyone know what it is.
Cause it sounds like it's still a possibility or.
It could very well still be a possibility.
Are you guys speaking in here?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
You do have a couple.
You've got some.
Yeah,
people.
yeah, we're reading.
So it's part of the 2014 needs area, which means it's a high sensitive area for high nitrogen. We have already started
Get them.
design. We're about 40% right now into design. We have acquired a piece of property on Bartlett Road as part of the project in order to take and build a pump station. We tried unsuccessfully to try to get a piece of the land bank, half of the other side of the road, but there was so many restrictions and hoops we would have had to jump through that we couldn't do that. We have done most of the borings in the area, just in the public roads. We haven't gone into any of the private roads yet, because we have to have easements and everything like that, so that's still all in the works.
So can I ask a question about it then? Do you need more land? I mean, it sounded like you needed more land, or if that was kind of,
We needed a spot to put the pump station. We originally were gonna try to send a line by directional drilling across the golf course over to the end of Mizzenmast, so we could just build a bigger pump station there, but with the restrictions and everything like that, and the restrictions covered everything, the conservation restrictions and everything, so that kind of got thrown out the window. So this pump station will be large enough for some future areas like Hummock Pond North, Hummock Pond South, as well as the Somerset Raceway area. The goal is, because it's quite a high sensitive area for nitrogen. It's to be in compliance with the 2004 and 2014 CWMP that kind of laid out the guidelines to DEP, what we were gonna do to try to correct these issues with nitrogen and everything like that. So we're following the guideline from the CWMPs and trying to move forward. But what we do nowadays with all of our projects, it's not just a sewer project. It's sewer, stormwater, water, and this is gonna have quite a large component in it as far as roadway reconstruction in the area and some really significant drainage improvements that are non-existent now. So there's a lot of pieces to this. And then there's a potential for a bike path as part of it that hasn't even, that part of the design hasn't started yet, so we're pretty well into it. And the last time I was here presenting is when we kind of got cut short, so.
I know, we did.
But it's, we're following our guidance through our CWMP, so.
Do you still have money left over for some of this design to move forward, or it's just kind of?
No, we had some,
budget, or-
we had some funding still available that we're taking, and that's what we've been using. For the initial stuff that we're doing now. We don't wanna, we're not gonna stop with the design.
Yeah.
Until those funds that we have, the 43 million is, that's all the construction and construction services and everything like that, and. When we started thinking ahead was to get a smaller amount so we could do some of this. Discoveries and everything else like that, so.
Yeah, sounds like that's been useful.
It's been very useful, and we've had a lot of discussions with all the different residents and. How we're gonna serve this area or that area, so it's been very productive. And we just wanna be ready so that if it does go forward, we'll be ready, or if it's gonna be paused for a little while, we'll still be ready. Cost will probably go up if we wait another year or so, but we're still at least 2 or 3 years away from construction to get going. And it serves quite a large area, and in order to do from Somerset Lane out towards the beach in Hummock Pond, it has to go in before those other areas can get served. So this is the initial piece. Originally, the Mattakit system force main was gonna come through this area, but we've opted for a different option for that. In the new force main that we just installed, we left a valve for Mattakit, if Mattakit ever gets built. So this will serve all that Hummock Pond area as well as Somerset and Raceway.
Do you know how many people it does serve, or how many houses are roughly?
I don't have that number with me, no, but it's when you go out there and you look around, it's actually more than you think.
Mhm.
But it's all Marble Way, it's the dirt part of Somerset and all the way up by the golf course and everything. It's quite an area, but there's a lot more residents when you start looking around than you'd think.
So like down Dock Rider and Henderson and
Henderson,
all
all-
those roads
all those,
and
yeah.
Gulfview.
Gulfview was to a certain point, because part of Gulfview was still not in the district.
Okay,
Will it be added to the district? It would make sense, that why we're doing things, is just taking, because there's a lot of paved roads we're gonna have to be disrupting.
yeah,
At least go to the ends of the part, the asphalt roads, and then leave a stub for future.
yeah,
And everything that we do in all of our projects is we plan for future expansions, so this system will be big enough to handle the Hummock Pond areas. Any construction that might take place afterwards. What we do on every project is we leave stubs on every lot that we pass. We'll leave two stubs if people want to. Anything after that, they'd have to pay separately, but we don't just go by lots. We leave a stub at every single lot as we go by, so it's ready to be connected to.
Is Aurora in Oak Hollow on that? What is that?
It will be able to be served by that area, once Aurora already has sewer in it. And Oak Hollow as well, via an easement. But if it gets to the point where we need to expand that pump station or whatever, it will be able to tie into this area.
The stubs you're talking about that you leave at each property that you pass, is that town responsibility anyway? In other words, I don't want us to be funding what would normally be a betterment if someone was going to be doing that. Like, I want to make sure that you're not going too far to where we're paying for what the homeowner should be paying.
In the old regulations, the homeowner owned to the center of the main. In the newer regulations, in order to have better control and access, we now go to the property line, that's as far as we go. We leave them a full-size stub, whether it's gravity or a force main, with a clean out and a T, and it's all marked by GPS, so that we'd be responsible for the laterals, which makes it a lot cleaner than having to have separate people go in and cut a road, dig a trench or whatever like that.
Yeah,
So
no, I like it.
do it all, get it all done once,
Yeah.
and then go from there.
Mhm.
And you think you have good buy-in from the neighbors, right? Because they do have major flooding there at Lake Raceway and Somerset and all that.
Raceway, year and a half ago, so we went in and we added a bunch of drainage. We added drainage on Raceway, on Somerset, and then down further on Somerset Lane by the Calman property, we added more drainage. To, as just a stopgap until something moved forward. And it's been a lot better than it was. But we do have buy-in from, most everyone's asking for it. You know, they want the town water and they want the sewer, so,
Yeah, I couldn't tell this summer because there was a drought, so.
Yeah,
I
right.
didn't really, didn't.
No, we
rain,
added-
So we're going to.
we added two big drainage structures on Raceway, and then around the corner, as you start heading up towards Hydrangea, we put another big one there.
Hmm.
And then one down by Calman's.
Do any of those neighbors who are closer, do they worry about the golf course and their fertilizing or the nitrogen loading?
I imagine it's a concern with everybody. You know, in my former life, as a plumber, they took in, a lot of homes would have issues with copper pipes because of the nitrogen and stuff that was in it pipes would get holes and it would just start leaking or whatever like that. Also, it was a different technology than today's copper piping, so. It was always seemed to be the cold water mains in the houses with just spring leaks or a boiler would leak or a water heater. The levels are pretty high up in there. And this will alleviate all the excess nutrients and the nitrogen that's going in from the septic systems.
Right. That's what I was kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Isn't that why you identified the area in the first place?
Yeah, when they did it in 2004 and then 2014, it was because of the loading that was hitting the pond.
Mhm.
It's like the other side of the pond as well, like my Comet Road. On the other side that connects over by Zachary and everything, that's all in the same needs area,
Mhm.
and all those are on septic, so.
So that would maybe be another area next.
Yeah, and when we did the sewer line down South Shore Road, the new gravity line that we're still waiting for a pump station on, we left stubs at all the different side roads so that we could ultimately connect through to my Comet.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't have to have another big sewer, it'd be easy just to run stubs down and then to serve those areas.
Makes sense.
We tried to think ahead.
Seems like you are.
So I mean, the pump station's gonna be designed with it, the capacity. We're gonna have 2 housing units now with possibly 3 different dwellings on that one lot, so that'll help for housing and trying to get more operators, and we still need an engineer and everything, so.
Yeah, but you'll still need money for housing.
We had the funding for that. That was, we're closing next month on the house.
Oh, the one that you bought?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're just gonna use what's existing, you're not like.
Yeah.
doing some modular.
No, and then,
Gotcha.
of course, they'll need some work, but right now the septic systems that are there, they're failed, so. There's a lot of, I think there's quite a few out in that area that are failed, so they're
Yeah.
just limping along and. And if we go forward with the new regulations on Title V, I mean, talking $120,000 plus per lot, so.
Wow. Anybody have any other questions on this one? Howard, go ahead.
I just, you had said something that maybe I misunderstood. You said you're not going to start the construction. You're going to be doing the design and related exercises, and that the construction wouldn't start for another period of time. And I wonder whether you could expound on that.
What we're still doing now is we're doing a lot of the surveying. It's quite a process to get easements along the private roads, because you have to get buy-in from all the properties. And all we need an easement for is so that we can install the mains and then be able to go in and service and work on them at a later date. We can't just, we did it all through Meadowview and Hussey Farm, and we have an easement to be able to work on the sewers. So after the design goes through and then go out to bidding, you're probably talking at least 2 years once the final design is done and bidding is taken care of, and then all the scheduling and parts and everything else like that. So the final product's a few years out, and it's gonna take a couple of years to build. It's taken us almost 4 years for the new force main that's been run, so. And we did that same thing out in Shimo, the Nantucket Harbor Shimo project. That was a few years worth of a project before we were able to finally tell everyone you could connect, so.
Are you worried at all that this won't be enough money?
Yeah, I think the engineers have been pretty conservative, I would say, I guess, on the numbers. These are actual numbers, and I had submitted it in the packet. It just pretty much shows the breakdown of what their numbers were. And I think that they feel comfortable with that number. We're hoping that what happened with the Schimel project is gonna be similar, that Schimel was set at $40,000 was the appropriation, and that project came in around 26 million, so. If the climate's right and working, and we have a lot of the big contractors that are looking for stuff, it could come in substantially lower than that. One of our biggest expenses is paving. It's costs us about $1 million a mile to pave.
Wow.
So that's why we work with all the different groups. Let's get in there, get done once, not have to dig it up in my lifetime, so.
Right. So, but I thought that a lot of the costs are really tied into the engineering.
It's a lot of it because we have to take and incorporate water, sewer and the stormwater, which is. We have to make sure we have enough room in the roads to get everything down, so and they do a good job, the firms that we've used in the past. Have done a really good job of being able to place everything. So everything works, and then, having to build the bioswale at the end of Raceway at Bartlett.
Oh, good.
That's one of the
Is that
things.
gonna help you with PFAS there?
The bioswales they do some treatment. They don't take care of everything, but they do have a real good benefit as far as treatment of nutrients, et cetera. But again, it's something that has to be maintained. Because we don't have any outfalls anywhere we can just let it flow out. Everything is either in leach pits in the road, or the bioswale thing is something that we really wanna start to use more and more, but again, it takes land, and
Yeah.
the land's expensive, so.
And that's not something you can coordinate with the land bank on, I mean,
We're working with them for sure on
Yeah.
that, because part of that area at the end of Raceway is land bank property and stuff, so this doesn't really have an impact to their. As long as we stay closer to the edge of the road, so, but bioswales, they're pretty cool, they really work, and
yeah,
Charles and I did a lot of work with the land bank down on North Beach Street, and corner of Easton Street with that stormwater garden that, people might look at and say, oh, that's not, it's actually doing some treatment before it goes out to the harbor.
the rain garden that.
The rain
land bank did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's one good thing about everything, we work very closely with all the other departments and divisions, so, it's been really good over the past few years.
That's great. It sounds, I wanna go see that rain garden, I guess I just have missed that, I've been over there.
It's,
It
it's
sounds like-
very well very nice looking, it's just, but you don't know what it's actually doing, they planted very specific plants
But
and
it didn't do much this summer, it didn't get no rain.
Yeah, it was pretty dry, little browned out a little bit.
yeah. So,
Anybody else?
Just to clarify, so this is a request for this current year, 27
it
request?
is,
It is, gotcha, okay. And to Howard's point, so construction might not be for 2 to 3 years?
probably talking before all the bidding's done, you're probably talking 2 years. Maybe a little bit sooner if things go very well, but
But essentially need to fund it all at this point to be able to move forward. even
fund
with
it,
design and
and
everything
start
else.
ordering, pipe and stuff is still taking a
Right.
lot of lead time.
And just, yeah, at that point, hope that the conservative estimates are enough such that next
Yeah.
year, that the year after, we're not already looking at anything more.
We've
than
been
we're
lucky
expecting
with the
for
firms that
construction.
did the estimates, so.
Yeah. Got it.
I think Howard had his hand up, he did.
Howard? Go ahead.
So thank you, Peter, for following up on that. Another in that same line of thinking, if I think probably am a little bit naive about your process of procurement and execution, and I'm wondering, do we need to put the $43 million in all of it into 2027 versus the year, maybe next year? Close, so we have enough lead time prior to your expectation of starting, but because I think you're not contracting for this construction, you're doing most of it in-house, and that's the second question.
The other piece of it, which I forgot to mention, is we applied to the state in the intended use plan a couple of years ago. Took a couple of years for the cycle, and then now this year, we're on the intended use plan for that 0% financing. So if we don't go forward this year and we pause it out a year, there's a chance with DPW, with DEP nowadays. They've been kind of funny. It could get removed from that plan and we wouldn't benefit from the 0%. So.
Got it. Thank you
even if
for
we- Even
that.
if we get that funding now, it doesn't mean it's gonna be spent. It can sit there, but we're moving forward with DEP and that's what they want.
And you're not gonna get that, you're not gonna be eligible potentially if you don't have the funding in place now. Is that correct then?
Yeah, there is a potential that we could be removed from that list.
I don't recall, I read this a while ago. I didn't recall that that was anywhere in your write-ups. That's an important fact that really will help us to appreciate why you're asking for it all now. Do you think you could add that?
Yes, I can do that.
Yeah,
Just put it in the summary.
Yeah,
You
thank,
can
yeah,
add
'cause-
that there, I'm sure.
yeah, thank you. That would be terrific.
It's a good reminder because it's the first thing we see when we go to rank things too, just.
no problem.
We don't understand how that. We don't always understand how that works when you're going
It's
to
that-
grant money, because
It's very complicated and nowadays with the climate and the whole country, the way Fed monies are being pulled and everything like that, it's. We're lucky we're on the list, but we had a meeting yesterday with some engineering consultants that said, if you don't move forward with something, there's a good chance that the state could pull that off
so
the
you want to
list.
stay on the list
We
and,
want to stay on the list. With the other piece of, with the upgrades at the treatment plant as well, that's on the same list.
Hmm.
So it's just,
so
and the
do-
state's not giving any more money than what they promised initially, so.
right, so do they have you ask for this, cause do they consider at all what sort of, that we have to go to town meeting for like a debt exclusion for something like this? Is that factor into them, or they don't care about that, they just wanna know, like,
They want to make sure that when when it comes time, that the town has appropriated or at least approved the funding. Because without it, they can't take and move forward. And
Yeah.
we have been, Nantucket's been extremely lucky over the years to get on the intended use plans for many, many things, the force main, Hamashimo upgrades at the treatment plant. But those strings are really getting tightened down nowadays.
I bet.
Plus, the Cape is now currently in the process of sewering the whole Cape.
Wow.
So now there's a more competition looking for the money.
The whole Cape, that's big.
Piece by
it's huge.
piece, but yeah. Yeah, they're,
It's huge. It's like a $60
Don't they
billion
have Don't they have a lot of sewer there?
no,
No,
barely
No?
any, yeah.
No,
very, very limited.
they went septic systems
Yeah.
forever.
Wow, well, there are
Until
lots
the
of.
state made them
Yeah.
upgrade
Wow.
and
Yes,
All competition.
Yeah,
okay.
then there wasn't a lot of times, the Cape
If we
wasn't.
don't tap into this, is it possible you wouldn't, they would push us off the list because we're not,
Once we take in, once the town meeting vote comes and it's, the authorizations there, the state says, okay, well, we'll
yeah,
move it out. And then they'll take in, if we have to ask for an extension before
I
the
see.
project continues or gets to the end, which we've had to do for the force main. We've had to ask for an extension, that they're saying now that no more extensions, this is, it's been almost 4 years.
So you have to apply for one every year?
So we just have to make sure that we're progressing on what we said we were doing.
I see.
And the way things are going right now, we might make the December, because Victor got all the way to Surfside Road today, Fairgrounds today, paving, so.
You did.
Time.
Oh, you tell me, I had everything crossed. I had everything crossed the last couple of weeks. Couple more days of this 40-degree, low 50-degree temperature.
No, and no rain?
No rain, we'll have South Shore finished paving too, so
Wow.
it's
Yeah.
been a long project.
Oh my gosh, I know. It's been brutal. Do you think I can put in to get some new tires for my car? Like, you have some insurance for me or
So
something?
I think you wouldn't be the only one that's done it, so,
People have done that?
oh yeah. If potholes or whatever, then people have gone in potholes, they popped the tire or damaged the ring, people will put in claims.
They, oh my
Playing
god.
slalom with the manholes.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
those are traffic calming devices, is what I call them.
All right, well, thanks. That's super helpful because I didn't understand that process with DP. That's really good to know, and she'll try to
And it's gonna be an interesting few years of what the economic climate does and
Yeah,
if the feds keep pulling money or we just don't know.
yeah. Okay, so on the next ones, we went over PFAS removal and treatment. Was anybody not here that, because we were kind of low on people that day that wanted
Yeah,
to
I
hear
was
that again? You weren't here.
I was not here.
I was on.
Right.
Yeah, so can we just go over that
I
one
can, yeah,
again?
for
Because
sure. Touch on
we've
it.
gotten 2.5 in the past, now you want an additional 5. I think maybe Greg is on to.
Greg's on you, and then Howard is the one that had a lot of the questions on it, but what it is we're looking to take and do a pilot project on Nantucket for PFAS destruction. PFAS being that 4-letter word now that no one wants to hear, whatever like that, and because of a lot of our constraints that we have with trucking and shipping and stuff like that, to just capture all the PFAS in our foam or in our sludge or whatever like that, we couldn't do it because we couldn't actually get it off island. And then a lot of places are closing down because they're overwhelmed with plants bringing them sludge and stuff from dewatering or the PFAS content. They don't, they're slowly shutting down. I think the closest one now is like out in Ohio. So we'd have to, once we capture it all and store it for a bit, we'd have to ship it all the way to Ohio for destruction. So looking at a technology that can destroy it on the island seems to make the most sense, and it's not just for wastewater or stormwater or it. The landfill would come into this because it would help destroy the PFAS and the leachate. Some of that, like what Mark's doing now, some of his filters and stuff like that may very well be able to be processed in a pilot that would give us the results that then we would go to the feds in the state and say, hey, okay, we tested 4 different technologies, or we're putting out an RFI here shortly to see how much interest we might get. Because I think it's like monthly, look at the technology's changing. And there's so many companies that are getting into it. We want to make sure we get the right firm that comes in with a process that's proven. There's a lot of technologies out there that really aren't proven all the way. And that's gonna be very important in our decisions. And Greg, myself, Andrew Shapiro from the health and everything, we're on meetings every week talking about what's out there, and we're trying to come up with the scope now to put out for a request for information to see how many firms might be interested in Nantucket. We may not get anyone. I know when they did the landfill RFI, most of the firms that showed interest wanted to get into the wastewater piece of it, the stream, because it would have some beneficial data that those firms could use elsewhere in the country. We have done some preliminary testing with CDM Smith.
With this technology.
With foam
other
fractionation is one of the ones that we're looking at it has a very high potential to be very successful. We have a lot of foam generation at the plant, and it's only because of how things are aerated. It just generates a lot of foam. So that the team that came down, Charles was helping with the sampling. We took it all into the lab, broke it down, and then they shipped it off to a lab to test the foam fractionation. And it worked very, very well on landfill leachate, which is one of our biggest contributors to the plant as far as the PFAS loading. So the foam fractionation seems to be a very, very good technology to look into.
And is that money that we've spent with the previous 2.5 million that?
A lot of that money it's a lot of the testing. The one thing that Nantucket has that a lot of communities don't have is we have almost 4 years of data for wastewater testing for PFAS. Every single stream that comes to the plant, we've tested. Carpet cleaners, doggy shampoo, septic haulers, leachate, brew weight, we tested everything.
Right, so we have a lot of data.
So we have the data, and then a lot of the firms, if they go into some communities, they won't have any data. They have to do it all. So we have a little bit of a head start with that. It's been great to see what our loading factors are and when they are, and we test quarterly, so we know exactly. It's the same every year we've been doing it, so we know, okay, we didn't see this 2 years ago, but we saw it this year. What's different, This year, I think a lot of our data that's gonna come out of it is gonna be a more precise measure of what's out there because we had no rain. because we didn't have any of the II getting into that, into the
But the
sewers.
rain has PFAS in it,
Rain has PFAS in it, for sure.
so you can't really identify necessarily where it comes from
Then that's,
or
what-
how much is from each.
and we've tested every single pump station, so we kind of, now we'll have ideas on neighborhoods. Where we might see different loadings or whatever like that, but rain does play a big issue in because of the PFAS content. So.
So then how do you,
Measure.
yeah, how do you, I mean, how do you?
Well, this year,
Try to
yeah.
control it. I
Well,
mean,
that's why he's saying this year, if they don't have the rain.
This year,
it's
it
gonna
should
get
be
a better
very,
idea.
very much more detailed loading, so we can see, because there wasn't as much rain. So we've gone even down, and Charles has worked with the company more. To certain manholes, so that we can see everything coming in, so we're taking samples at manholes upstream of pump stations, so we can now say, you need to focus this way a little bit more, and that way a little bit more.
And it's not really a gray area, it's like the hotspots are order of magnitude
Yes,
greater than.
makes sense.
An average. or
Management.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can really look into that one source,
Got it.
like the landfill leachate, it's,
Yeah.
the levels are up here versus rain might be way down.
I see.
And
That
it
makes
wasn't,
sense.
carpet cleaners is the other
Yeah.
high one.
But some
Yeah.
things are soluble and some are not soluble, yeah?
And they're testing everything, I mean, they're not just testing for the PFAS 6 that you hear all these comments.
It's like
I mean,
70 compounds.
When they're coming through, I mean, it's like 20-something sheets of just every compound that they test.
Yeah,
And I had them do it on certain cycles so that we could see. I wanted to know when we were shutting down houses for the winter and when we were turning on houses in the spring.
Hmm.
To see if that had a higher impact on the loading. And I mean, we found that when it came time to turn on houses, we saw a real high number of, industrial cleaners, which makes sense. So we at least had that kind of a data footprint, so we knew what was going on. A lot of the restaurants downtown go to the C Street pump station. So then we started going a little bit further out to see if we could kind of find out exactly where, because we don't have much industry here.
Right.
The laundromats, they have a big, potential for PFAS loading because of the surfactants and everything that's in the
And the
soaps and
car
whatnot.
washes and the boat washing and.
Yeah,
It's interesting talking to them because with their experience, they can kind of fingerprint the types of, the PFAS there that they find and say, oh, that's coming from, carpet cleaners, that.
How do you figure that out?
Just
like a-
the levels
Just
of
'cause
the
what it
different
is.
compounds.
And
they-
it's like Scotch Guard or.
Yeah,
yeah, they can fingerprint it like a fingerprint.
Yeah, like down to the batch, essentially, yeah. It's like a synthetic
yeah, it's
fingerprint.
really cool.
Wow.
And the team that we've had working with us, the engineers.
Seems
that
like
come
real
up-
FBI forensics going on
It
with.
is, and,
sludge.
We'll get to the bottom of it.
yeah. Well, I tell you, even the state came in for a few years and they were testing the deer for PFAS.
The
Which
deer.
you would think like, why would they test the deer? But you gotta think the deer are eating grass and lawns and everything else like that, and they found PFAS in deer.
They
They
did
found COVID in deer. Yeah.
in their bloodstream?
And then, yeah, because there was a scientist that came down from,
My God.
Mass, they were testing, they tested fish have PFAS in it. I mean,
Well, rain has it. I mean,
It's-
that's
yeah,
the same.
Like what,
part.
what's the PPT in rain?
I don't know what that.
Is it less
Well,
than
they
20? Is
test
it
it for
less than
PP.
5? I mean,
Are they
I mean, I
testing
hope it's
PPT?
below drinking water.
which is
standard.
20, right?
Yeah.
Right now, yeah, so you'd think it's pretty low.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it depends on where it rains. I think
Yeah.
it's location sensitive.
I mean, yeah, I meant on Nantucket, not like the
Yeah,
Oh.
Rust Belt, something.
I would love to know that, and find that out.
May I ask a few questions, Joe?
Go for it, Howard, shoot.
So, David, I've been involved in looking at pilot projects for similar technologies in the waste industry, and I am kind of not understanding why it's appropriate for Nantucket to be spending money on a technology that's not commercially proven. I do not think personally that a town such as ours that has tremendous capital needs should be in the business of building a pilot plant that we're not confident that it will work and will not have operational guarantees from the manufacturer. In my experience, pilot plants are built by the technology provider. They are not paid for by the customer because they're not proven. And sometimes they are eligible for grants from the federal government, but typically the end user never pays for a pilot plant, and I'm having trouble with that, and I could use some help.
Yeah, you had brought that up at the last time, and I don't think Greg was with us on the last questioning. A lot of it has to do here especially, with the mobilization, is having to get all these containers here and everything else like that, and setting up the, for the electricity and whatnot.
David, all that being said, I can appreciate that there's some execution difficulty here because of the island, but this is not a proven technology. There are not operational guarantees provided by the technology manufacturer. And therefore, we are taking the risk that this may or may not work, even though it's a lovely idea. And we do, and there's a need for it. It's just not for me, in my experience, to suggest that we should be underwriting that.
Well, can we maybe, was Gregor, did you want to jump on and tell us about what you have spent money on? Like, are there technologies that you spent money on and you're like, it wasn't the best fit for us, but I heard you say foam.
Foam fractionation is the one that we've done more testing on than anything
Right.
else so far.
And that is separating it out. It's able to.
Yeah, because it concentrates in the foam.
Yeah.
And that's where they were able to gather foam at the plant, and then from leachate and everything like that, and send those samples off that had some pretty significant concentrations.
Mhm.
And the foam fractionation did a very good job in destroying what was there, so.
So is that different than the electrolysis? Cause that's what I heard us talk about last time, but maybe.
There's so many different ones, electrolysis, you got supercritical
you're-
water oxidation.
Yeah.
But I believe that my question is still not being answered. I understand, Jill and Peter, that the technology is interesting and that we have a problem, and that many other people, everybody else has a problem that's similar that could use this technology. I would like an explicit answer to why we should be funding a project that's a pilot project and it does not have commercial operation guarantees.
Yeah, well, that's why I did ask Howard, why, I've asked for a breakdown of the 2.5 million that was spent and what it went towards.
Right,
And now
but now he's looking for money
And
going
that's why Greg
forward.
is on, because I think he's gonna be able to walk through some of this.
Sure. It's not so much, hi, everybody, Greg
Greg.
from town administration. It's not so much, I am not the technical guy in this. I don't know foam fractionation from electrolysis, or anything else. That's all Dave and everybody else's world. I can just say that this particular pilot project is determined by the select board. So we're doing it because the select board decided in 2021 they wanted to be a leader somehow in PFAS technologies and understanding PFAS on the island and what we can do to educate the public. So it 2022 town meeting, $2.5 million was appropriated at the town meeting for a pilot project. Now, Mr. Metz brings up a good point. Do we want to be a pilot project for commercial ventures or some sort of incubator for the technology? I guess that's a discussion at the select board level, but this is our mandate. And so what we've been doing for the past almost 4 years now is collecting the data that would optimize what type of technology could possibly be used here. Doesn't mean we need to go through with it, but that's what we've spent. We've had, well, we're now on to our 5th contract. We've had 4 contracts, mostly for sampling.
Sorry, Greg, this is the 2.5 million that was already authorized?
It's already out there. And so before the 2.5 million was authorized in 2021, we used
Yeah,
some
you had more.
previous town, exactly. So for the first 2 sampling contracts was paid out of the FY21 and FY22 PFAS sampling money that was appropriated at town meeting. One was $750,000 and one was $2 million. So those 2 contracts combined, one was 151,800, another 299,700, and they were for David and his team to determine how to collect samples and all the streams that he was just talking about, all the different avenues, and it was going very well. And I think there's roughly 4 rounds of sampling per year. David, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
And then they started to bring it off island to test in different technologies, like David said, fractionation or whatever. And so we did another contract, but that was out of the 2.5 million. So that's when we really started to spend that. And there was other additional money spent out of the 2.5 million. David, purchased auto samplers, which I'm not exactly sure what they are, David, but I think they are what they sound like. They automatically sample. And they're located in different areas downtown. But that's also not just for PFAS. David can use that for any other analytic that he needs. And then there, or,
You go to identify drugs and stuff and like,
yes,
I'm always
we've-
very.
That's rope, we can talk.
Most,
about
Which-
most legal, not.
I don't think we can identify exactly which neighborhood is
No.
contributing the most, but we're getting there. So we have spent well over $500,000 so far on just sampling. But they didn't all come out of the 2.5 million. Some came out of the early appropriation. So David does have roughly about 2 million remaining in the 2022 appropriation for the pilot. Now, I said that was a directive from the select board, more or less, on our PFAS. It may have been a knee-jerk reaction to the airport and trying to better understand PFAS from the airport's required testing and mitigation. That obviously was required by the state. We are under no requirement. This is an elective program, discretionary completely. We are not under any obligation or order to do this project, but we're still collecting the data. Now, could this funding be pushed out a year or so? Sure, right. I don't think David is under any gun to actually start a pilot project in FY 27 or 28, but we have a better idea of what the technology would be now. Again, it's over my head, but in those meetings, they've ruled out other technologies. So now it goes back to the question is like, should we be in this situation? Should we be doing this for a commercial venture? And I guess that's just a value discussion at the select board level. But so we're just following up on what the mandate's been.
Yeah, I appreciate that you want to take it to the select board. And if you do take this to the select board, I will go to the select board as a person experienced in this industry with these kinds of technologies and talk about it, because we do have the same issue with regard to people of our community who believe that there's incineration pyrolysis technology available for waste disposal, and there's not.
Right.
And so unless somebody can convince me, and I hope my committee members, that this is not just a pilot project, that it is commercially proven, then I would really, really strongly suggest that this not be funded at all. And I would also say to you that I am working on a carbon sequestration project, a number of them, and we are doing CO2 sampling just like you guys are. And we are sending to the lab in order for the technology provider to analyze it. But that technology provider is going to accept that sampling, and he's going to give us a performance guarantee if we elect to use his equipment. And that is just 180 degrees different than what you're asking for.
Well, the vendors have said, oh, we can destroy 98% of the PFAS, we can, but
They have said it, but I will get a performance guarantee on my project. You are not getting a performance guarantee on this, as far as I know.
Yeah, I don't think we can actually do that in the government. I don't know if we can.
Yes, absolutely you can, because I've done it on waste energy projects that have contracted with municipalities around the country.
I think, Howard, we need to,
We
Have
need
you
to get
come out
Howard
and
to
chat?
negotiate all this.
Yeah,
we
stuff,
need to
dude.
have
Do
you
it.
come out and help us.
Do the contract.
I'm happy to help you, but I think that we have so many capital needs that to go out on a limb and do something that's so prospective is not a good way to spend money. In fact, I never would have approved the money to do the original testing.
Well, can I ask a question too? David, I back in 2021, and of course COVID was going on, so you were having to test for that too. And it seems like the original response to PFAS was very worrisome, and the state came down hard. I mean, we have much stricter standards here than the EPA. I think probably than any state in the country, I'm pretty sure we're up there with, right? So.
And Jill, the state has
They have to
mandated
regulate.
technology that to be used for this too. And those are the osmosis filters that are being, if I understand correctly, David, the osmosis filters that are installed on the wells.
Yeah, osmosis works. It does generate a lot of excess wastewater.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
that
Yeah, for
goes
every
to
gallon of
hazardous waste
water,
disposal. Yeah,
2 or 3 gallons, but,
Yeah, I
and
understand.
carbon's been a very successful use in the PFAS, but it's collecting it all. Now it's a matter of, once you get into
Perhaps.
these large size projects, what do you do with the PFAS, with the carbon? You can send it
Well,
off.
you send it to
Regenerate
Ohio,
it.
just what you said. A lot
Yeah.
of waste goes to Ohio, West Virginia. That is not a calamity. That is a commercial operation. And that's what a lot of states do on the East Coast. They send their stuff to Ohio and West Virginia. They send their hazardous waste there. Why those states want it, I don't know. But that's neither here nor there. The point is that the state of Massachusetts approved the osmosis technology. This technology has never been run by the state of Massachusetts. And if it was, the state of Massachusetts might want to think about funding it and being involved in the proxy plan.
I think that's interesting, but I have another.
Did you have a thought? Because you were going on somewhere.
Well,
Were you going somewhere?
With
the thing is, I don't think that we have standards. What standard do you have to meet to comply with the state?
Currently, we do not have any
Right,
standards
the-
for wastewater. However, when we renew our permit, which is coming up in another year, we then will have some type or form of PFAS required testing or potential for destruction. We don't know yet. We don't know. The
Right.
state.
And the state,
EPA
David,
is coming.
pardon me, David, but the state will not mandate you to do anything with any technology that they haven't approved. So if they haven't approved it, you're not going to be required to do something that's physically not up and licensed by the state.
Yeah, that's correct. It's just a matter of, none of the other communities in Massachusetts are even they're not moving as fast as we have been.
Yeah.
No, well, we're under the eye of the DEP, and they have been very gracious to the island, appreciating the limitations that we have. But they are not forgetting that we have groundwater problems and landfill seepage issues.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
So on that score, Howard, is the landfill also using the same technology that David's been using for testing?
The landfill uses different testing techniques because they're testing the soil and the groundwater, and I can't express completely what they're doing versus how David's doing his sampling, but it's neither here nor there, Jill. It doesn't matter. It's not about the sampling. It's about a commercially proven technology that's approved by the state of Massachusetts DEEP.
No, I know, Howard. That's what I'm trying to get is a big picture of all this PFAS money that we're
Oh,
spending. And I am recognizing that it's really only drinking water that is regulated. That doesn't mean that we
Right.
shouldn't be forward thinking and shouldn't be looking.
we
at
should be,
that.
totally. But
That's what
but
I'm trying. There are different funding streams on the PFAS, and that's where I got a little frustrated about, well, you need some money, and I think Natural Resources wants some money. Obviously, Mark wants some money, like, I just want to know, like, aren't you really testing the same thing? You're not exactly.
not really.
Yeah,
Not really,
but still-
because the
still all
landfill's
getting
testing.
sampled, and it's still all getting sent somewhere.
There are different labs that test different things. In the case of the landfill, it's groundwater contamination from things that are in the waste stream, not just PFAS. That would be other sorts of chemicals and metals.
Yeah, but David's also testing for things beyond PFAS as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But but anyway, I've said my piece.
I
don't
just thought
really
it'd be
dis-
good for
I
us to
apologize.
understand that as money keeps, no, I totally understand what you're saying, and I think it's
And I think it would be
valid.
very, very important, Howard, to have someone with your background that I didn't know existed. I didn't know what your background was. I think that's a huge tool that we could use.
Yeah. I agree.
Well, I spent a lot of time looking at a new pyrolysis technology, and we almost invested in it and we pulled back from it. And that was many years ago, and it still hasn't been proven, David. So I do, as an investor in this industry, have an understanding of what it takes to make it commercial and whether it is viable or not.
Well, not in a different industry, but the same.
I'm happy to help you.
Yeah,
I tell you, your experience, your background would be so huge for us.
I agree. I think you definitely should meet and talk about it, because there's gotta be a way that, like, not every department can come and ask for the same money, and then
I mean,
you're gonna fight
yeah.
it with one technology and they're gonna fight it with another and. yeah,
I
I
mean, poor
think that-
Mark, I mean, when he had his hit, he had to go out and drop almost $4 million on, just for one
He
well.
did for
Just
for
you know,
osmosis, yes.
That
Yeah.
proven technology from the state. though,
Yeah.
Right?
It is
And
proven
it's-
technology. It's licensed by the state of Massachusetts and it has performance guarantees. And lots of states use those filters, like California, which is just as nasty to deal with as the state of Massachusetts, Commonwealth.
Oh, it's worse.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we want to do this RFI to find out who would show interest. I mean, it could be an osmosis company that would be the one we'd look into, like this,
Yep.
but I
I'm all for
definitely,
exploring. I'm all for exploring. I'm just not for investing.
Yeah, it just, to me, it was a lot of money and I mean, we're talking other, just all has to be considered and,
oh, yeah, no, like Greg said, it could definitely be pushed out for certain.
well, we're not,
It's just, at some point, we know the state's coming with some kind of a,
yeah, well,
but
Yeah, we're just following the efforts that we've originally started out with, which
Yeah.
is full tilt.
no, absolutely.
sounds like we have a lot of data.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, and
Which
I
is
tell you,
great,
with
which is
with
great.
Greg and Andrew and all the different rookies on that crew, it's just,
Um,
Mark's on the crew, I mean,
It's funny what you all know. I remember,
Andrew is our
Mark Let
PFAS
can
geek.
tell you if you wash your dishes at 2 a.m.
Yeah,
I love it.
David Howard's a size medium for your shirt, get him the shirt.
Yeah.
long sleeve or short,
Oh my
Very
God.
funny.
I tell you, no, I,
I think you guys should get together. I really.
I think
it's
that's
a good idea.
great.
Just keep it, yeah.
Well, don't call on me to be an expert on pickup trucks though, because I'm not.
Okay, no, we'll pick your brain on PFAS and that kind of stuff.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, we'll have to play our.
you're not an engineer and you by any chance, I have an engineering position open.
I have taken plenty of engineering classes too. Yes, but I'm not a licensed engineer.
Okay, the Surfside treatment upgrades. I thought we did talk about that last time, but these three weren't here, so
Yeah.
can we keep going?
No, we can keep going on that.
Sorry, Dave.
Back in 2018, when we did the phase one upgrade. The firm at the time was different than what we have now. Estimated low, and when the bids came in, they were almost $9 million over. What the appropriation was at the time, so we had to take out a lot of processes and upgrades to the facility then, so we've been, since 2018. We've been going along in status quo, but technologies now have changed, but, there's a lot more energy efficiency stuff out there that we need. One of the big pieces, and I had sent the entire schedule for the plant in the Plum software that breaks it all down. One of the big things was the VACON dump station, for catch basin cleaning and stuff like that, right now there isn't any real viable location that doesn't have complications. I mean, the landfill will take it if it's dry. Now, in order to take and get it dry, you gotta decant it, but we don't want a lot of that stuff in the sewers because it has a lot of grit in it. So we wanna have a process that they come in, they dump, it dries out, it goes through a whole treatment process before it goes into the facility. And then we use the reclaimed debris, sand and stuff like that in our road base or whatever. That's been a big hurdle of ours over the years, is once the landfill started saying, well, you can't bring anything wet, it really limits a lot of stuff. We're looking at some different modern technologies, I mean, for septic receiving. Currently, we can only receive one truck at a time, and a lot of times in the summer, we'll have 2-3 trucks lined up, waiting to dump. And it just has to go through a slower process, so we're looking at a new modern technology to take and do our septic receiving. We switched over 2 or 3 years ago from rotary presses for dewatering, and now we're using a centrifuge, which has increased our ability to dewater much more efficiently, and at a definitely a different pace than the rotary presses did. One of the pieces of the upgrade is to add a second centrifuge into the system, so we have our redundancy. Right now, if our centrifuge goes down, we have a new bowl and a scroll, but it's gonna take some time to replace that stuff, and we don't have any means to take and continue dewatering. Cause the old original rotary presses have, they're so many hours on them, and they're so corroded with everything that we can't get them apart to fix them and replace parts, so. The centrifuge has been very good for us. It made a big difference in the thing. Some of the other stuff we're looking at, and we just did it with our membranes technology. We replaced all of our membranes that were originally part of this process, but because the membranes were already 15 years old, we were worried about failure at any point in time. So they've been replaced. All the blowers have had new sheaths put on them. So we should start to see an efficiency change there in our electricity usage. A lot of what we're looking at now between new pumps and new VFDs, the technology has changed so much, and since 2008, when the original plant was done, that we're looking at potentially some pretty significant electricity savings going forward than some of the old stuff, soft start motors and stuff like that instantly bang at 100 amps, and they take a huge energy draw. So a lot of the stuff that we're doing is to improve the operation. We're doing all the aeration system, because the aeration system that's in there was a 2008 technology, and now then they have new membranes and different pumps and blowers and everything to change all that, so hopefully our efficiency on our air can go a much more efficient way. Currently, we're the largest consumer of electricity on the island, which isn't something to brag about, but it's just the nature of the beast. Yeah, because everything is either pumped, aerated, UV, moved around or whatever like that, so a lot of what we're trying to put into the request for the 9.5 million is to bring the plant up to where it should have been almost 10 years ago. It's gonna take, the efficiency should certainly improve drastically. I mean, we have a solar system now that, although it's not big enough to really offset a lot of our electricity, it's saving us 32,000 kilowatt hours a month right now, which in a normal facility, building a home or whatever like that, that's you're off the grid, you're running on your own electricity. It's a small drop to us out there, but any little bit helps.
What percent is that of your overall? What would that be, say, you said per month, what's a percent of that overall?
Maybe 2%.
Okay,
Oh my.
so you'd need really major infrastructure
Yeah.
to really start making a dent. I like we're getting off, digressing to another request. I don't know yet,
No, but it's,
but I mean, it's, you gotta make a significant investment to really make it. And I appreciate the introduction for that to your, your.
and one thing that we're hoping is, for years ago, there was a lot of programs that National Grid was sponsoring. And they were giving up facilities an awful lot of money to take and switch out their VFD drives and stuff like that. Well, that's probably over 10 years old now when they did that. And we did that to the facility. We put in all LED lights, we put in sensors, we did, when you walk into a room, the lights will come on. We did a lot of that over 10 years ago, and now there's even better technologies out there that work. And, with all of our blowers and our pumps and everything like that, even the pumps nowadays are more efficient than they used to be. So we're looking to increase our efficiency as far as consumption of electricity, but also be beneficial to the process.
Those pumps run nonstop, right?
24 hours,
Yeah,
24
so I mean, that's.
And I'm sure
Change the kilowatt hours, you're just gonna change the price a little bit. It's not-
we spend probably close to $2 million a year just in electric costs.
The sun's also burning all day,
I tell you,
Where's that gonna go? If you
Yep.
did that,
if
there's
more,
not, it doesn't have enough power to do that, does it?
depending, you'd have to have a very large solar field for sure.
Would you like target like one pump station to say we're gonna try to run this all so?
We've looked, working with Lauren, at the new pump station over at Surfside Road.
Yeah,
Cause that has a lot more of the modern technology stuff. The roof's not as big as it might be, but that could probably offset that 40%.
No brainer.
That we still have a lot more roofs at the plant that we can put
Yeah,
the systems on. And this one's been, I gotta say, it's been pretty remarkable to watch how much it's like even a little windmill at the school saves them.
yeah, and, and you get excited for even that small savings,
Oh, yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. And,
Yeah.
Definitely.
if we can get our numbers down, our electricity, it's like the Sconsa plant, not to get off the subject, but the Sconsa plant's a 2004 plant. All old technology.
Yeah.
Eventually, we'll be coming forth in the next few years to take and start to upgrade that facility. The electric demands have changed, the drives have changed, everything's changing. And, we don't want to be the guinea pigs on some technology, but
Sure.
sometimes it's good to be in the lead.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of rebates unfortunately have been taken away.
Yeah,
recently,
it's-
so, as of last month. I think,
But does that really affect the municipalities too?
probably.
They would come in and they paid for all of our lights in the whole facility to be changed,
Well, I know that program.
all over to LEDs.
Yeah, I know that's gone.
And we know it saved some money.
Yeah. Okay, should we keep going? Any other questions on the upgrades?
How many bids do you get for an RFP like this?
What we've been seeing is, there's only like 2 or 3 companies kind of in the northeast area. We've had a couple big firms from just outside Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey that have come in, and a lot of them have a disadvantage because they don't understand the mobilization and the logistics and everything like that. So it's usually been about the same 3 companies
That'll provide bids for most of.
that
the
have always
projects.
bid for a big project,
Yeah.
RBO, CC. We've had a company called Waterline.
Right,
Um,
I've never heard of Hazen, which is what this,
Yeah, Hazen is our engineering firm. It's
Gotcha.
Hazen and Sawyer.
Right.
And they currently they did our sewer regulations. They're currently doing our stormwater regulations. They're the
Mhm.
designers on the upgrade at the plant. And
so this is their estimate,
it's their estimate.
interesting, okay. It's
And
just,
they, on different projects, they have been very, very good on their
Really?
estimating.
it's wild that it goes from, direct and indirect costs of 8.6 and then escalation, profit, overhead, profit. Profit on subcontracted work and contingency, and you get up to $15 million really quick. It's just.
And of course, then you
wild when
gotta
break it
throw
down.
in, everything has to be prevailing wage and everything like that.
Right, yeah, it's just all of those line items make up almost 50% of the contract.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, I know, makes your head spin.
Makes your blood boil.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, but yeah, that's
it is tough. It really is. And,
wild.
we've been lucky to find 3 different firms that we really like. All have their specialties or their niches that are really beneficial to us. EPG is the one that designed the new force main.
Mhm.
They were the ones that were part of when the force main failed. We really like that firm. They're very, very good, so.
Yeah, it's just looking at contract in general, where 50% of it's made up of expected overages that most of the time are guaranteed to happen,
Yeah. We've been pretty lucky in a lot of stuff with change orders, limiting our change orders and everything like that. It's just. Cause the firms that we've been using, the contractors we've been using, it's, they just assume solve the problem and having to put okay, the dirt's yellow instead of brown. It's, sometimes that could be a change order on a project.
Mhm.
But our companies that we've been luckily to work with, will just take in, okay, dirt's dirt, just.
Yeah. It's good.
All right, guys,
Mhm.
let's keep going. The cat track machine replacement.
Yeah, that's one of our, it's also known as a Bobcat, which maybe more people know. It's said that way, but the track machine is just, it doesn't have wheels, it has tracks. This equipment's been used outside a lot. Oftentimes we'll have to sit outside. Because there's just not enough storage at the plant. And it's coming up on 5 years old. And we're starting to have to spend money on it, which you figure it's running around sand all the time and everything like that. So it's just, it's kind of just getting on the replacement schedule of. And that's something that I'm trying to take and improve on coming forth, that, we'll try to roll things out every 5 years or 10 years, depending on how some of our specialized equipment is used.
Yeah.
I got a question, I mean, do you guys ever, for something like that, do you guys ever just do like I bought a $400 canvas tent that covers a vehicle and the thing's amazing. Like, do you ever just say, listen, we've got this piece of equipment, we wanna keep it out of, we've got the land, we can put it up, fasten it down, and just do that?
Just keep
can-
like what?
salt spray off of it.
Yeah, we
and
try,
just, and just keep the dampness off of
we
it.
try to keep it in the garage as much as we can. We do have some 40-foot containers that have the high roofs in them. That we can squeeze them in, but then again, we have to have two of everything on, we have to have two pumps, two this, two that, so we run out of space very quickly. That's one advantage, one thing that we're looking at with our new garage maintenance facility. Every single piece of equipment will be indoors, which is gonna be huge. I mean, all of our light towers sit outside all the time. We have generators that sit outside. It's just, there isn't enough room to put everything, which is.
Yeah, I mean, I just think there's a way to protect certain equipment. I think not just your department, I think all departments should have, make some little effort towards, it's probably, we're all sitting still.
And the wind is brutal up there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right? They're all-
Not the best today. But yeah, anyway, never really, as much as I'm, a fan of
Yeah.
storage space, I do think that, case by case, you can make a very small investment and have something covered for 5 years, especially if you're gonna buy something new, you need to have it not find room inside.
I mean, you go out to the airport and they have stuff they have 1990 loaders.
Yeah, I
We
agree,
talked about
that's,
that one here.
yeah, case in point, right there.
Well,
And they
all
look
of our
perfect.
van too.
Yeah. But it's something that we need some more storage for sure, like, like the tent might, but where we are, as you know, the wind is,
I agree.
they don't have anything that protects us, and now land banks out there now cutting all of the rest of our trees around on the other side of us. But
Anyway, I had to just,
part of the land management,
that ever,
they're making grasslands now, so. So there's a lot of pieces to everything, and we tried to never, some trucks, you don't need to replace the equipment every 5 years or 10 years. And we have some older equipment that, but once you start having to put money into these things, as you know, equipment nowadays with all the wheels and rollers and everything, you get a little grit or a rock or something in it, it's $500 to fix it, or whatever like that, so.
Oh.
We're trying to be better with trying to rotate our equipment out, that's, like our sewer equipment that's out all the time, and the nasty stuff, and it's just, our Jetta's coming up, it's a 2018 Jetta, I think it is, so it's coming up on 10 years, and that was $500,000 when we bought it. So it's, those are indoors, but they spend a considerable amount of time outside working. And,
Are you able to sell the Bobcat, like the old one,
We
or
would,
is it just so beat up that you?
no, we would either put it out to surplus, or we've already talked with Cat about it, and they'd be willing to take it in as a trade,
Okay,
which could be $30,000 or $40,000, thing to
Yeah.
come in, so it wouldn't just, sit there forever. It would either go to surplus or we trade it in.
I didn't know if it was just used so heavily that it's like you just kind of get its life after
It's,
5.
so a lot of the bigger companies, Bobcat, Kubota, all those, they'll take the equipment, they'll spend a few $1,000s to completely restore them, and then they
Yeah.
sell them. I mean, if we get $40,000 for this machine, I think that's pretty fair for something that's used pretty heavily.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow, well, that makes a big difference on the price.
It does help, and I'm bad for, a lot of times, if I need $380,000 or whatever, I'll go for 400, just cause now everything nowadays is transportation and delivery fees and fuel surcharge. What did we see recently? Our fuel surcharge for like freight coming over on the big, it's at 25% now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Our chemicals, the price for getting chemicals nowadays has just absolutely gone through the roof. But it's, and we try to plan for all of that.
Yep.
So this is just to take and try to get us into a schedule of rotating and
Okay.
replacing equipment, so we don't beat it into the ground.
Since we're on that subject. I know it's an out year for an F-250 pickup truck,
Yes,
but this is one of my favorite topics. Do you feel different? Do you want the 250 and not the 350? And if not, why not?
the one
This
thing we,
goes on with other
Yeah.
departments.
one thing we've noticed with the heavier equipment, a lot of it has to do with, right, and then the wear and tear, this turning on, turning them on, not that. And that's why we've never gone to a lot of diesels with a lot of our vehicles, because they just can't get hot enough. They just don't
Hmm.
get up to that sweet spot in a diesel engine, so they're gas, and these trucks are used very heavily. They plow in snow, all over the island.
Yeah.
We have some 350s. Charles has a 350. It's just bigger. It's
It just weighs more.
weighs a lot more, uses a lot more fuel because they got bigger engines in them. I mean, it's a 250 meets a lot of our needs. Every now and then we will need a 350.
Yeah. Sorry, but
Might have different needs in the DPW though.
Yeah,
No, it's not just, it was the airport too. And these trucks just weigh more. They're just,
what's
big. Well, I
difference
don't know,
between
Charles, maybe you wanna
350?
advocate for the 350, cause
Okay.
you're driving.
I'm gonna stay out of, he bought it.
Right.
No.
Charles,
stay
speak up.
No,
It's-
it's too big. I
It's a
hate
big-
driving the thing
Yeah.
downtown. That's all I have to
I
say.
agree with that, our roads aren't even big enough for it. But after this meeting the other day where we talked about this, you know how your phone will like tell you, basically send you things it knows you're interested in? This is terrible, but I got a thing on my feed, social media feed, showing a 350 and it ran over somebody on the beach and killed them. Yeah,
Did it kill
because
that guy?
they just ran over somebody. They didn't even know they ran over the person who was like laying on the beach. And it was like, I don't know if it was a lifeguard or it was another town employee, but obviously it wasn't here.
Big Brother's watching you no matter what you do.
But I mean, that popped up in my feed and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta send this to the committee. This is like making my case about these big trucks.
And the 150s for us are a little bit smaller because we have to tow a lot of heavy generators around.
Yeah.
So the 250 meets our needs
Mhm.
there. And 350s, we have a couple and we're probably gonna stick with the 250 range for sure. It's just-
And the price is different.
Oh, yeah.
It's a huge difference. I mean, I don't know, it depends what you're pulling, I suppose, or if there's the add-ons, like does the 350 have add-ons that the 250 can't use?
They do, and then when you start getting into the heavier vehicles too, unless you have a mechanic in your shop. They're more expensive to work on, because if you don't send them to, which we normally won't send them to the Ford garage, we have to go off island. For our bigger truck stuff, heavier trucks.
This conversation is just. I just feel like our roads aren't that big and I'm like, why do these get bigger trucks?
So when we turn our TVs on tonight, we're all gonna be talking about PFAS and our feeds are all gonna like.
Basically, our cars are probably PFAS full and gonna kill us. So. Oh, thank you for letting me diverge there, guys, sorry. Let's jump, there's the hook lift truck replacement.
That truck that's an outside truck. It is used to haul anything from sludge to, it's a plow truck in the wintertime. And I will tell you, I will probably never, ever buy another Freightliner as long as I'm in the business. They have the cheapest metal I have probably ever seen out of equipment. And it's just the things that, and we just had all new brakes put in, cans all rotted out. It's, the fuel system just had to get replaced, and luckily we have an on-aisle mechanic that can do that kind of work, but. We were all Freightliner all the time, and then just starting to really realize that. It's just not, they're not as robust as what we need.
Yeah.
I mean, if I could, I'd spend $80,000 and get one of those dustless blast systems that you see, the trailers. Blast all the trucks and then put undercoating on them,
Yeah.
It's the salt and everything here just kills, especially
Did you
the.
ask about them doing the
did.
undercuts on all the equipment here? I swear you did
Yeah,
that.
they said,
They use the wool wax, the
Well,
lanolin stuff,
I
not
mean,
the
the
petroleum.
stuff had been on there for years. They had mentioned that it lasts 6 months, which,
And you use the petroleum based stuff. which is what I did all my trucks with, and yeah, they're good
They
for
could
5,
capture that.
6, 7 years,
Yeah.
but they use the.
Oil stuff.
Capture that,
Oil
and send that
stuff,
for
yeah.
sampling for PFAS too.
Yeah.
Like, just a whole.
I mean, they were saying, you know, we don't wanna be driving around with, you know, petroleum products. at the
Dripping oil
bottom,
underneath.
But I mean, hey,
I mean, years ago, they came up with a technology that you could plug your truck into some kind of electrolysis system in that. They didn't last very long,
Yeah.
but it's, you know, but these trucks are, especially this hook lift truck, it's used, it's been used for plowing since we've had it. And they take a beating.
well, to your point, everyone's trying to use cheaper products and charge more, so if you can put in place a measure that you might have to do, then you do that, you protect it.
The next chassis will definitely not be. It'll either be a Kenworth or a Western Star, something that's definitely built more robust. We have a Western Star on our big vac truck and the guys love it. It's- It's not
There you
as
go.
overly complicated and, you know, we thought Freightliner was the thing to go to, but now we've realized that not so much.
Well,
Well, are there
That's
different
great to know.
maintenance packages when you go to bid these things out, and can you kind of tell, like, this one's a heavy on the maintenance package, but maybe the
One thing
unit
I do
itself
when
is
I,
not as expensive.
when I
so
buy all of our
kind of-
vehicles, I don't know how many other do is I always get the extended warranties on them. It does cost a bit more money, but. Sometimes they'll warranty it up to 100,000 miles or whatever. It's an added expense up front, but it ultimately pays for itself. I mean, we had gone one year, when Kara was still here, we bought some Chevys. She wanted to try Chevys on the island, even though we only had a Ford dealership. So we have a pickup and a van and we have to send them off to Dick Beard Chevrolet to get serviced, but they've worked out well. And
Mhm.
Chevys are quarter of the price of that. They're cheaper than Fords,
Yeah,
but Ford's here, you know, now we have Dodge here. Maybe someday we'll try to go to Dodge. I mean, it's nice to have that uniformity across the whole town with Fords. But I'm always looking and talking to the dealers and stuff like that. Hey, you know, I try not to special order vehicles. I'll call, what do you got on the lot? I want white. Just, you know, simple. What's on the lot?
That's all they have sometimes.
And a lot of times that, you know, I have a leftover, or I have someone ordered it and they didn't take it. Well, we'll take it. It's just, you know.
And then they say, it's a 350.
Well, I
No,
don't
I gotta
look,
check with the capital committee on that.
I don't look at much for 350s. I really don't.
I totally agree with this. Totally. I'm gonna send you that video. It was terrible, terrible. I can't believe I got that an hour later after the meeting. I was like, oh gosh, I've never talked about F-250s in my life.
But one of the goal, once we get everything indoors and we'll be able to wash them correctly and store them, it'll make a big difference in equipment.
Yeah.
But our hook truck is just, it's been outside its whole life and it's a mess, really is. We've tried all kinds of different paints and epoxies and the rust restorers and stuff, and it just goes to the plow season and the next time it's just, things are falling off it, so.
Undercovered, I'm telling you.
They
Okay,
did it for years. There must have been something right about it.
Do it.
do something.
Yeah.
I agree. I think maybe somebody, I agree with you. I think we haven't seen that come before us, and I don't know how much that is for all the cars. Is that more than $50,000? Like,
When you used to be able to go to a dealership and order, and then hey, you want undercoating, it's gonna cost you $2,500.
But I think that was even a different product.
It was,
Yeah.
Vinyl liner.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Much
that's, you know,
different
this is
product back in
different.
the
I
day.
know,
it goes on wet and then it dries, soaks up a bunch of dirt and just creates like a very,
Rough. It's just-
yeah, like flexible, not permanent, like film around everything, but it doesn't drip off. It doesn't, you know,
yeah.
if you drive through a puddle, like I don't think it's pulling petroleum off the bottom of your
No,
car.
Just, it's in Norman.
It just encapsulates it.
I do on my old vehicles and it's
Yeah,
great.
you got to out here.
No brainer.
Yeah,
okay. Well, maybe we should talk to everybody about doing that a little bit more, like.
well,
you-
I
you
don't know,
have-
guys you buy now, they coat it, the outside, the paint and stuff with something.
Yeah.
It's guaranteed.
Oh, it's, what is that?
I know when I got my Honda, they had that, my pilot, they did that with some kind of coating. and-
Ceramic, yeah, like a ceramic, yeah, clear ceramic coating.
Okay, we're gonna keep going. The Fairgrounds Road sewer upgrade.
This is something that
Is this,
my back hair on the back of my neck stood up when I initially had heard about the fairgrounds and everything being sold and 8 homes going in there with 8 bedrooms in each and, you know. The sewer line that's in Fairgrounds Road was originally installed probably by my grandfather when he owned most of Fairgrounds Road. And it currently surcharges, the manholes will surcharge at certain times of the year. Which indicates it's too small. It's only an 8 inch to a certain point, then it goes to 10. What we wanna do,
What's the surcharging mean?
that the flow can't get down the pipe fast enough, so it'll fill the manhole up.
Oh, okay,
And then it will slowly go down, and it happens there, cause we've had flow meters in them and we've done the testing, so we know that section does surcharge.
okay,
So the plan is to go from Tacoma all the way to Old South Road, brand new with 12-inch pipe,
Instead of,
instead of 8.
That's
And
there.
this is because of Tacoma Green.
Well, you have Tacoma Green as one, and the one that really raised my attention was, you know, all the development that's taken place on Fairgrounds Road, it's amazing what's been built.
Yeah.
And it's starting to show, and when we installed the sewer line on South Shore, we kept it as deep as we could, so if we ever had to extend it down Fairgrounds, we could take some of the flow, not all of it, but this, with Tacoma Green now getting started and everything else like that, it'll definitely help me sleep a little bit more, and I got an actual price from Weston and Sampson, who's done all of
Yeah.
our sewer projects, and they felt that this was a very good number, and so it's 800 and, 820, something like that,
850.
850.
Yeah, you've got 12, an 8, a 10, an 8, and an 8.
So everything and that's a problem we're finding a lot, and we'll talk about it some in stormwater, is the pipes were installed. When they were installed, oh, that was a perfect size. Well, now it's not a perfect size anymore. It's just. No, that's why we're replacing everything we can, the sewers in the streets are 6-inch. This whole neighborhood's on 6-inch pipe, which is too small.
yeah,
Now we run 6-inch pipes to people's houses and so. So that's what the ask is for that, and it's a relatively small job. For one of the bigger contractors, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's all off the road. It's not in the roadway. It's all along the side of the road, the fairground side.
does the smaller pipe though allow you to have clean, like, is it? The pressure better for not having to.
The scouring, what you're talking, yeah, the scouring. It's more effective in force mains than it is, so when you design a program with a project with force mains, you don't wanna go too big, cause you don't get the scour gravity. As long as they follow that 2% grade, you don't get the solid sticking behind and the liquids moving forward. And on fairgrounds specifically, I mean, there's a lot of grease on fairgrounds, a lot of grease, and you know, that hinders the pipes, make them smaller, so an 8-inch main might now only be 7.5. So, and the newer technology pipes they're smoother, they're different things, you know. We did a lot of
Transitions.
We did a lot of lining downtown and it's really made a huge difference on, you know. The II and everything getting in and just
Right.
technology, that's almost all of fairgrounds is asbestos pipe. So. As is in a lot of other areas on the island, but.
I see.
There's gonna be 84 units at Tacoma Green, there's gonna, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the town's going in for about 30 more bedrooms on Wade Drive, so there is more.
Tacoma has 9 lots on it from town building.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah, that's the.
We have the whole property from Tacoma to Old South Road, the
Oh,
Nichols
yeah, I
property,
know.
that's gonna be 16
Yeah.
houses, I think, 16 buildable lots or something like that.
Be all in the new main, and what we'll do is, we'd end up, when we replace the main, we're gonna run a full-size line across the street for Tacoma Green. So they don't have to cut into anything later, it'll be done before they're ready to connect,
Interesting.
Oh, good,
so, again, trying to think ahead.
definitely. Okay, now we've got a Ford Explorer up to replace an existing Ford Explorer.
Yeah, it's in the cycle, that's one of the
Yep.
older ones that we have, You know, I would I consider something electric maybe, pricing is, I found that a lot of electric vehicles cost more than the other ones.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, long term, it's a no-brainer. I was so torn between my truck, which is gas, which I love. Still got, I'm still enjoying it, but anyway, the trade-off was, even buying a $25,000 more electric vehicle. After 5 years, like, it's a push, and then you're still saving many years after that. Like, yeah, it's a lot, it's more money, but I mean, I'll tell you, not going to the gas station every week to fill a tank of $150, big time. It's,
Yeah, no,
It's a-
one of our, our admin vehicle eventually would be an electric vehicle for sure, but, I still concerned, what are they gonna do with all these batteries
Right.
at some point?
Yep, yeah, we don't know that.
No. So that's just in the rotation.
Right? Now we're on to stormwater.
Yay.
Charles, you wanna take it away? The first thing is the Jetty's Beach Drainage Parking Lot Design and Reconstruction. So this looks like it's mostly just design money, yeah? Or is it, actually, you had a hand sketch, I noticed,
That would probably have been.
Yeah,
Sorry.
which I really preferred it, actually.
I do, I'm old school, though. so.
Was that you that drew that?
Yeah,
That was awesome.
so it is a flooding problem every large rainstorm down there. Libby's been asking about finding a solution, and the main thing is there, that parking lot is kind of like in a bowl, and with all the sand just clogs up anything. There's a catch basin in there, but it just gets clogged up. So what's sketched there, it shows like a basin to collect all the sediment, and then it's kind of like a sewer, like a septic system. It flows into the pump station, so we can get rid of the sand that's clogging up the existing catch basin and pump it up to the stormwater system.
Gotcha.
Ideally, we would pump it someplace else, but I don't know, gone to natural resources and see if we could just pump it up to outside of a wetland area, but they don't want to do that. So, it is what it is. It's gonna be an in-house fix.
And he purchased he has the,
Yeah, we have the structure
Structure.
itself and the pump, and so we just need a contractor to do it.
So no bioswales for this one?
I wish, but this, I mean.
Well, we looked into that. I got
Just thinking about that grass space there next to the tennis courts and all.
Oh, yeah, and I don't know if you're aware of the feasibility study. We've got an EPA grant to do this study, to include more green infrastructure into the stormwater, infrastructure. So they looked at that parking lot and they have, ideas and sketches, but we need an immediate fix, and this will be a part of the entire system. It won't be abandoned after anything else is done. We're doing some design work on redoing that parking lot, and I think there are 3 or 4 parking lots the town is looking at, like behind the finance building, that
Yeah.
and redesigning that, possibly including green infrastructure into that.
Well, I'm impressed with the hand drawing.
It's complicated down there, cause what did you find groundwater at? Less than 12 inches or something like that?
Probably 4 inches.
Yeah.
Below its pavement.
So I got a question. Is there? What are you gonna answer? Is there any way to not do the infrastructure and just manage the elevation of the pavement and just say, what are we gonna do? Manage pumps in lines with a sandy environment for the next, 30 years, or
I know.
or can we pave it so it's better disbursement of rainwater? And
That would be possible, but the regulations have changed of what you can do in a coastal flooding environment, like in that area. You can't just raise the grade of the parking lot because it's in a flood zone. And they're worried about that you're removing the volume that could provide for the storage of that flood water. And so sometimes you have to compensate for any volume that you So if you raise the parking lot in this area, you have to remove an area in another adjacent area. It's
Yeah, yeah.
really, it gets really
Yeah.
complicated, and we looked at permeable pavement, but then the
Right.
maintenance issues with that, it's crazy. Um, groundwater is at 4 inches below, so it's not like we can
Wow.
have
right there.
some kind, yeah. We manually put in a monitoring well just to get an idea, because the catch basin and that infiltrator, you know, to disperse it into the groundwater wasn't working. Well, the reason why it's not working, it's below the groundwater. And it's that, all that's tied into the tide water.
Has fluctuation.
And yeah, groundwater fluctuates with the tide.
Yeah, I mean, there was existing manhole there, was there existing?
We had
It's a
put
catch
something,
basin,
There's
yeah.
no space.
and it was temporary when we did the sewer to the concession.
Right,
But there's no curbing and you know, the rain, the storm water brings all the sand down and it just clogs anything that you
Yeah.
in.
so you guys have exhausted options of no infrastructure down there with other means?
Yeah, and
What-
then, you know, it's come down to, we bring the vac truck down there and, you know, you're taking out loads of, you know, couple thousand gallons loads of stormwater and then you haul it back to the treatment plant and then all that time that going back and forth.
Yeah.
and
One thing
It's
that
a
we
lot of
wanted to
water.
do was years ago, remember how I used to be able to drive on the beach and there was always ruts? A lot of the water would just go onto the beach and kind of disappear, but when we kind of raised that, like, hey, we want to take a bulldozer down there and kind of
Like
level up.
DPW used to do that.
Yeah,
And,
Yeah.
you know, grade the beach.
Now you can't.
You can't, it's a restricted area, you
Mm.
can't, it's like a dune resource area, so you can't touch it. And now with all the resiliency projects, you have to let that dune area move. You know, with wind and flooding and all that,
Mm.
so you can't build like just a wall to keep flooding.
Yeah, I mean, I get, not making the problem somewhere else. I just had to ask because it's a good size area. It's not, flooding's bad, but it's not like. I don't know, I just thought with sandy environment, sand filtration and, you know, crowning that sort of lightly crowning it so that it just has light disbursement. I don't know.
I know,
I just
I
hate to
mean,
manage
No. it's-
equipment and pumps and.
the
when you're
problem
just
is,
such a-
the way the road was built, and the road is below all the sand on the sides. Stormwater can't get off the road,
Yeah.
and it's all funneled down into the parking lot, and that's the low spot of
Yeah.
the entire
Because
area.
we were having issues with the concession, they couldn't get in, so we did a little strip of pavement by the handicap spots.
Yeah.
It helped, didn't take care of the problem.
So if sand is an issue with the drainage, which obviously it makes sense it is, I'm looking at your drawing, so just. So I understand so this grate does that filter the sand
Yeah,
out so
that's-
that the water? can
That's
go
the catch
through?
basin grate opening, and then any sand that gets into there will drop down into that chamber. You know,
Okay.
It's like a septic system chamber, and it's got manhole access to it, so we
So
can.
that you can
take it
clean out the
back
sand.
Down there,
Oh,
clean,
perfect,
keep, you know,
okay.
maintain that.
Like backing it up.
And then, and the maintenance with stormwater is huge. If you let things go, then it just destroys the function
Yeah,
of the whole system.
So Charles, would this be over by the playground that's in the dunes?
No, this would be right in
Middle of the
the
playground.
It's in the
handicap
middle.
parking lot at the low spot where all the ponding takes place.
How weird
Okay,
is
well,
it?
I felt like all the ponding takes place where the bike rack is, but.
So
maybe
it's like a big lake.
It does go over there, but it's the biggest area through by that.
The lowest spot.
Yeah,
Yeah, where they had, where sometimes they have that big barrier, like before getting ready for pops, I guess they put that barrier down there.
So is this?
yeah, it's in that area.
Sitting in salt water all the time?
No, it's not saltwater. saltwater,
Literally just groundwater, fresh water?
yeah, like 4 inches below the pavement is just groundwater and it's flowing to the saltwater. So it's a little bit higher than, so it's constantly feeding into, into salt water, but it's just below the pavement.
I
It's
also kind of
unbelievable.
wouldn't wanna redo the bike parking over there while they're doing this.
Well, that's part of the design. They're redoing the
Okay.
layout of all the parking and,
The company that's consulting on the parking.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so that is included.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was
So-
another stop. I mean, we installed one as a temporary system and that was 2015, 2016.
This appropriation is not gonna cover that work, though.
No,
No.
No, that'll be when the parking lot
No, but
consulting
this-
company provides a recommendation for what to actually do long.
And we tried to get this installed in the spring, and it just didn't happen with getting the structures here and the pump and everything. And, Memorial Day comes and it's like, you're not going down there now to dig up that part of it.
Yeah. So you did have this funded before? That's what it sounds like.
No, there was talk that it was going to be funding from, I don't know, from the town
Gotcha.
somewhere. It wasn't,
Okay, well, it was probably under $50,000 then too, and that
Yeah.
was higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now we are looking at, any more questions, Howard?
Nope.
I was just, thinking about that because Charlie Plocky is also asking for like a playground to go over by the courts, so I was thinking if y'all were working in the same area, you should probably.
Oh,
go
we're
about it.
working, we're working together. Everybody's working on that, the parking
That
lot
area.
layout and the whole, redoing that whole area.
Yeah, it is a funny little quirky area,
it is.
and that parking lot next to the tennis courts is totally underused.
I mean, there's always a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah.
Staging, the film company
Yeah,
rented it
but
for
it
3
needs
weeks.
to be used as a parking area. The problem is people are used to just driving down the lower parking lot.
You just hitting the sand.
Just dragging their stuff out of the beach.
I mean, the closer you can park, the better. I'd always
Yeah.
park as close. as
And
I can.
actually, that feasibility study, they kind of identified it as being like a drop-off zone instead of a
Interesting.
parking zone.
Hmm.
So you drop people and all your beach equipment off, and then you go.
Park
take
at the upper
car
lot.
out of The upper parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going. Sorry, this meeting is, next one, Children's Beach Stormwater Pump Station Replacement. This has come a few times here, I think.
This is a carryover from years ago, we kind of inherited the situation that pump station's been an issue since the day it was built, and we've inherited some real problems, hydraulic problems with that pump station. This funding was, I think it was requested back in 2018 or something like that, before we were delegated with the stormwater work. So,
And it's people
It's
at Brant
carryover.
Point, in Brant Point that are kind of asking for, aren't they? Aren't they the primary?
well, it's
Well,
just
say
like,
I'm not asking for it, I don't mean it like that, I just want there's.
The flooding. That whole area, I mean, Willard,
Yeah.
Walsh. All the way down
Beach.
Easton Street Beach, it's just.
and that pump station, actually, it was designed as a gravity outfall system, which didn't work well. And then they kind of put a Band-Aid on it and try to make it into a pump station. That didn't work well. Then because of the lack of the original designs of pump station, they put in these pumps and they burned out because the wet well wasn't big enough and the pumps were cycling on and off and burned out, and it's been an issue. I mean, I really want to just get into this thing and try to design it, the way it should have been designed in the beginning.
Oh, no, and I down there, yeah. Oh,
Oh.
yeah, that's a recent, yeah. And one of the things too is this, what are they, sea swirls, that's what in front of them.
Oh, those,
There's two systems in front of the pump station that's supposed to be oil water separators and stuff like that. Oh. That,
and sediment
Yeah.
sediment sinks, look kind of like that structure.
Yeah.
But they were never maintained. They're chock full and it clogs the flow feeding the pump station. And to clean them out, you have to dewater the entire area system, the entire stormwater system, like hundreds of thousands of gallons.
Which is why it was never done.
I don't know, but now we're stuck with something. We've tried dewatering when we've had, companies here doing the back truck.
And we've had
work
both
with-
back trucks trying.
Trying
Can't
with
even keep up.
pumps, trying to dewater the thing, just so we could get it drawn down, so pump out the sediment.
Yeah.
I think they were tacked on to the project because it was something that DEP requested before, to have some control of the water quality before it's discharged to the harbor. And this was kind of like the best management practice at the time. So I think they just throw them in there, but hydraulically, it's a nightmare because it doesn't allow the water to flow to the pump station just down there. So all these things, I mean, it's gotta be resolved, and this is,
Yeah.
the previous DPW director had this money allocated for a redesign of the pump station, but then it kind of got dropped, and and we
Yeah, I
wound
feel like
up.
we see it
in
every
here.
year, every other year, and
Yeah,
Oh,
but
no,
I
it doesn't.
really like to get
Get
working on a design that really works, because what's there is something that has never worked. Great. And
So-
it probably won't, it may not include the cost of, reconstruction of a pump station, I don't know. That'll be
Yeah,
something that
I
we'll
mean, we
find
tossed
out.
around ideas of maybe relocating the pump station up to the back far corner by where the concessions is, and then now we know that there's a new concession coming, so could you try to incorporate this and build a public restroom with, in conjunction with the construction, so
yeah.
it's,
And it may not be, we may not be pumping it directly into the harbor. There's, for reasons of water quality and resiliency issues, we may pump it someplace where it can be treated, possibly up near jetties or part of some of the stormwater, we may pump to the treatment plant, the surf side. But all that's in that feasibility study that's just completed, so if you're interested, you might want to take a look at it.
Yeah, I don't know if we have it in our supplemental documents.
No, it's
No,
not.
no.
It was sent to Libby and the select board a month or two ago.
Okay. Cause we don't have as many details on this one.
no. it's-
We
Still
had
very
the
much-
two thousand five evaluation, and that's kind of it
Yeah.
for supplemental documents, so. I don't know if you wanna even just put anything else in terms of a little more color, just for the
Well, we can do that.
description, I mean, that might help
I mean,
us.
there've been studies done and, when was that last?
There's not a real breakdown or cost for it, like, I hear you talk about design. And then this says the cost will include design, engineering, and relocation. Does that? And then the construction of the new pump, so it's everything is in this
Yeah, and that
amount.
the amount has just been carried over since the allocation back in 2017.
And we don't even know
18.
10 millions.
Yeah, I don't know.
Gonna do it,
Yeah,
cause
We
you've
haven't had it.
gotten like 4 million,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And that tributary area that hits that pump station is absolutely massive. It goes all the way up to something natural on the cliff, all Lily Pond. It's a massive, massive tributary that serves
It's coming,
that whole area. Oh, yeah, it's the water that flows down Eastern Street. It's a giant river.
yeah,
It comes down the mains and it's restricted. It can't get out. That's,
And everything, talk about undersizing pipes, everything, Brent Point, everything. So
Yeah.
Hazen and Sawyer studied that entire system, and basically they can't take anything over a 1 year storm event. It's
yeah,
really,
sounds like we need some more bioswales over there, guys.
I mean, the past whales are pretty cool. I mean, I went over to Sandwich, the museum in Sandwich.
Yeah,
Heritage location, they have all bioswales in different gardens. it was really neat to see
At
firsthand.
their museum?
Yeah, the whole outside garden and stuff's all bioswales.
I mean, it's cool, but you know, the whole point of those are, to allow the stormwater to infiltrate into the groundwater, but if you're only 6 inches above groundwater, there's no storage. You can, you know, you dig a
Yeah.
little
Go
bit
anywhere.
and you're into groundwater. So it doesn't accomplish much.
Was that what the intention was around the wetlands by sales?
Yeah, that's a constructed wetland. That was for water quality, well, treatment of stormwater before it got discharged into the harbor.
But it's like the same kind of theory?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is, yeah, so actually that was built in the early 2000s. We want to restore that to get that back. It was built and then neglected, not maintained, and that, like, stormwater maintenance is everything.
Mhm.
You have to have a maintenance plan and stick to it.
Yeah.
So who paid for that?
I think they got a grant to do it, and then I don't think there was a in-house champion of the whole system to keep it going, so I don't know.
Now you'll be our champion.
One thing that's gone
As
really
long
well,
as, before I retire.
one thing that's been good to Charles is we have such a close relationship now with Land Bank, the Land Council. Great Harbor Yacht Club wants to take in, they're a big
Mhm.
proponent of trying to get that whole area done. They want to pay for a lot of it, but they want the town to contribute or whatever, but all
Well,
the different.
you know, I
Yeah, helping.
put a grant proposal with them to expand. So next to the town-owned constructed wetlands, the part of the development of the yacht club, they installed these little structures which don't really work well. So we want to, they're going to fund the redesign of that and kind of expand what we have.
Okay.
And we'll take the responsibility of restoring our constructive well, because we let it go. So
Hmm.
wouldn't be fair to have them fix the problem that we caused.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're really involved in all this stuff, and they've bought us sampling equipment. We started a sampling program for the stormwater because it hadn't been done. So I've got some co-op students that are working on that. It's been great.
It's more data, we're finally getting more and more data.
What's in those samples?
Well, we're just looking at, we're not looking at PFAS. We don't want to look
Like
at.
boat stuff or what?
No, that's a whole nother study, but just the nutrient loading that's going into the harbor.
Mhm.
And, you know, it's causing
Right.
the
The
eelgrass, you know,
eelgrass.
the algal blooms, and which affects the eelgrass, which affects the scallops and everything else, so.
Yeah.
That's neat.
I gotta
I like it. All right, bye.
Apologies, guys.
Sorry.
See you, Pete.
Thank you, guys,
coming. See ya.
Yeah.
Sorry, Randall.
Talk to you soon.
And I don't want you to trouble Charles, I'm sorry, we kind of went slow.
No,
Well, we can
it's important,
continue it, you know.
it's important for us to take and give you guys as much data as we can. That's what.
Yeah.
I tend to talk way too much, as we know, but it's just.
Well, I've rambled too.
So,
See you.
I mean, the next thing,
It's all good into-
the next thing on this was the CMOM.
The
which
CMOM, you asked for that annually? the
Yeah, which we
2 million?
gave you a red outline and stuff like that, and it's just basically a continuation of what we do with the sewers,
Mhm.
you know? And then there was some,
Yep, and then the CMOM mains and infrastructure replacement phase 1 and 2.
and this is all gonna come out of all the camera work that we've been doing, and Charles has been, he's had the interns that did GPS and everything and whatnot like that, and now it's, where do we focus our immediate attention? Is it the Washington Street, Easy Street corridor? Is it this corridor? I mean, we have flooding in Pocomo right now that we're having to deal with all the time. This,
We're on Pocomo.
right where it turns to dirt.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like a
no, I know
Area
exactly.
They call it Pocomo.
Yes, yeah.
You talk to the resident.
And that's
Cars get,
stuck there,
in a day.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it is bad.
But there's I mean, what we did with the sewer, Cameron, and now we're repairing, now we're gonna do with stormwater.
well, we've done 3 rounds of inspections, videotaping of the pipes and everything. It's kind of shocking to see the results.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is, and it's even worse than the sewer system was.
Is there any crossover with sewer and stormwater, or is, as far as, or is the infrastructure totally different, totally in different places.
Well,
Or is there any?
it was a combined sewer system when it was first built, and we have. We just had an issue on Orange Street where so. It was installed as a combined system. And then they decided, well, we better separate the sewage out, you know, not just discharge that into the harbor. So they separated them. And they put in that pump station down at C Street and pumped it over there, so. Ideally, there would be no cross connections, but they kind of, or this goes back to the original. Installation was 1890s and
Yeah.
and before, I think they separated in the 20s. But like Orange Street, we had a collapse and, we were doing some sampling of the stormwater and I smelled like some sewer gas and it's like something's up, and we took some samples and we got bacteria in it and everything, so, and then. The next week, we got a phone call, somebody was, I think there was a collapse in the road or in the sidewalk and excavated it, and the sewer lateral was on top of the stormwater lateral, or the stormwater pipe. And when they separated, they dug at the top part out of the sewer pipe and laid the sewer lateral right in there.
Oh.
And then the traffic just
Cracked the
cracked
main.
it. It's only, it's only clay.
So you don't see this.
Yeah, weird, I kept.
That's in front of my mom's, is this on Orange Street?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Is
What
that by
number?
my, she's 90,
Oh,
this
that's
is down.
that,
We're close, no, we're 76.
yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
that system is installed, you look.
and how old is this?
1890s, some of the curb inlets, that, yeah, you got over 100 years out of it, 100.
I know, yeah, you gotta think, we gotta.
And
money's
it
worth.
wasn't designed for the traffic.
Right.
The cars,
And
it
it
wasn't
was
designed for the
only-
F-350. Drive on it?
Huh?
It wasn't designed for the F-350.
No, no.
Miracle.
250s would be no problem.
No,
That's what I'm saying.
Jetter truck. No, it's a miracle that
Oh.
that some of this.
No.
Well,
I
it's-
think it's
It
still-
does- This stuff doesn't know us.
When you go to the.
Yeah.
Exactly. They
Exactly.
attached it initially but the trucks just kept crushing and
Yeah,
crushing and crushing. I mean, it was pretty fancy
Compression,
brickwork.
Compression.
So
That's all it
then,
is.
you start to think. Oh, and then we couldn't run the little videotape robots up that pipe because. I should have brought the drawings with us. We have drawings of how that system was built, and the pipe is kind of offset from. The inlets and everything. You can't get in. And you can't like videotape the entire pipe.
Yeah.
Because there are these huge brick structures, beautifully built with, brick arches and everything. It's incredible, but we can't videotape the whole
Camera
thing.
won't go by.
So the question is, how many of these cross contaminations do we have in place on Orange Street alone? Without even looking, the rest of the downtown.
Well, that's why the camera's so important, right?
And we use it a lot.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool.
Well, it's good.
So that's what the CMON projects that we're looking at for this. is,
Yeah.
We did it with the sewer, and now we're doing it with stormwater, and like Charles said, well, some of the stuff we're finding, it's like, oh my God, you kidding me? I mean, there's some pipes that go right towards the house and stop,
It is a good.
because they
storm.
dug a foundation.
And some
now.
of it,
It's a good, investment.
some of it's not even pipes. Some of the system is stone lined culverts.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
And then they put a pipe inside and backfilled it,
I got a
but
picture of one of them.
some of these things, it's like curbstones on the sides. Some of them are cobblestone lined on the bottom and then stones across the top. So the outfall that we just worked on, because it was all collapsed, right, on Orange Street near Cumberland Farms, that goes into Consu Springs.
Yeah.
That has that, and we started digging out. Toscana did the work for us, and we found the stone culvert, and part of it's still intact, and I had them leave that part just for. Just like Holly to see if she wanted to, document any of it and stuff, but. I mean, it's cool stuff, but
Yeah.
it was never designed to last this long.
Yeah, it wasn't designed to take all the water from the F-350s driving on the ground. It was.
Possibly.
No, and that, none of it was ever sized, you know, like we did size, if you're just going to design, it was all added. You know, ad hoc, kind of like just tacked onto the
Yeah.
system, and we never looked at it as a whole.
Yeah.
No, it was, just.
Nothing's like that here.
It's really cool, I some
It's,
will be
it's,
fine,
as you
but
say,
it's
we don't
like,
owe it anything. It doesn't know it's, you know.
no.
That's a good line.
And then Brant Point is like, well, it was all salt marsh, it was filled, so, you know, all that stuff, because there's no slope on any of the pipes, it doesn't drain well, so.
You guys, thank you for your time. This was,
Oh, is that it? That was the end of it?
that was the end of your
You want
request.
me to talk
anyway.
more about how cool the system is?
Well, we might have you come back with some,
Oh, yeah.
we might have some questions, as we.
I
Yeah,
could do some more hand drawing with.
I really
Please
like
do.
that. That made me feel a lot better than.
Well, he's an older school, I mean, as far as
You can draw,
an engineer,
And
that's
you
what
did-
that's how we learned, yeah.
you drew to scale.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Stuff.
That's the first period. You guys get A+ today.
I got,
The
one-
truck
I got a
conversation,
question.
the artistry,
I think I ask this every year. How are we doing with, finding ways or legitimately finding ways to, invoice for stormwater, whether it's dewatering, into the sewer system? Or into the stormwater
We
system,
don't want, okay.
into the stormwater system, so.
Yeah, so. We're talking about all of that with the stormwater regulations that we have a meeting with Libby and Greg and. Who else is on that? I think,
Health, planning. right?
Is there
yeah, so-
options
yeah,
for funding, for revenue?
oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So this is going to establish a
Great.
funding mechanism through an enterprise
Yeah, yeah.
fund, and it'll be, so people will be charged by the amount of impervious surface on their lots.
Oh.
So the more it's developed, the more you have to pay, and it'll be a modest fee that I don't think anybody, I shouldn't say anybody, will complain about, and it doesn't have to go,
Revenue, yeah, yeah.
but it'll be a separate revenue,
Okay.
stream.
Great.
And
And
it'll
we're trying
fund
to-
the maintenance and
Yeah.
everything, so all that happens, and that doesn't get delayed.
Enterprise fund, yeah.
That we're trying to follow all the other towns. We're not trying to reinvent anything.
No,
That's why working with this Hazen and Sawyer.
Yeah.
One of the lady engineers that's on the group used to be an EPA regulator. So she has all kinds of attachments and I mean, to different towns, states and everything. So she has been phenomenal for us.
and there are lots of.
Greg has to
in
leave,
Massachusetts,
Just send
especially
me a
where they're
text.
going with that.
oh, that's fine.
Yeah, got it, got it.
Some are required because of the MS4, if you're a bigger city, there are EPA requirements to make you, do this thing, but we're kind of. We're not regulated, but we want to use that as like a model of how we
Yeah,
set this up.
yeah, not trying to screw people, just trying to say, hey, there's a vehicle for
Yeah, we
revenue.
don't want it to
A
come out, of-
reasonable vehicle for revenue,
Yeah.
you know?
shouldn't
Yeah.
come out of. the,
Right,
General fund.
yeah.
See, this is the kind of stuff we find in our pipes.
What? Kids?
That's my granddaughter.
David, what is it? I can't see.
Victor's
Funny.
Picture of
granddaughter.
my granddaughter and
I can't believe you have a grandchild.
two.
I can't believe you put her in the pipe.
Oh my god.
Do you want that
That's
to
a
climb in?
sewer pipe too, it's not even a stormwater.
Big the sewer pipe is now.
That's 24, that's 24
Yeah,
inch.
that's what it's put in. for the
She's
project.
adorable.
Yeah, I have two of them.
She
We
looks
can't
like
see her.
Oh,
Here,
I'll have to send you the pictures.
Okay,
Guys, thanks everybody for your time. Appreciate it. This is a big one. It's always a big one, so I'm glad we could take the time.
Yeah.
Charles, thank you.
Oh,
Yes,
I-
thank you so
I
much.
know we went over a little bit, but that's what we
I always do
we
that.
try to just take in You try to
It's
tell them
one
like
of
it is.
those topics, because you have to go over so many different things, it touches on so many things, and it just, we all kind of get re-educated every time.
I feel sorry for Howard, because we're gonna take and try to commandeer him. I don't see him up there anymore, but
Yeah, he's off island helping his sister.
yeah.
The problem with
So-
stormwater is, that, you know, it's been neglected so long, so we're trying to play catch up big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jill, question for Charles. I was wondering when the feasibility study would be available for us to take a look at, the one that's on Brown Point that went to the,
It's available, it was sent to Libby and Greg, and I don't know what the plans are for distribution. I could, if you send me an email, I can send you a link to it.
thank you.
My email address is just cjohnson@nantucket-ma.gov.
Thank you.
Sue, also, I don't see our agenda up for Thursday. Does that mean that we missed our?
No, I posted it this morning and I think I just
Oh.
added it to the
The
meeting
web-
invite this afternoon, so it should show, but it's definitely posted because I get confirmation when they post it to the calendar.
Okay, great, so I was like, I thought we were getting out of a meeting on Thursday.
No, no,
So,
Luckily.
Or the winds. man.
all right, guys, we have a meeting Thursday at 2. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Christie,
Aye.
Liza, Caroline? We're motion to adjourn.
Oh, yep, I'm here.
Yep, Jules and I. Sue, thank you.
And so.
Thanks, Sue.
We are adjourned.
Okay. Bye, you guys.
Thanks, Sue.
It's my other granddaughter.